Hi, this is Sean Smith again, and we've been visiting about tips and strategies to help empower the adults in the home, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, and uncle, work in a blended, hybrid, and fully online environment for our students. And so I wanted to reinforce a few things when it comes to visual schedules. Now, when some of us think about visual schedules as educators, we think of the fact that they offer graphic representations to schedules, tasks, activities, and a number of different things. We see them as being able to visually break down a task or multiple steps to something. And of course, these could be visuals that we use at the elementary age, we use at the preschool age, but honestly, these are things we could be using at the middle secondary age as well. They could be kind of offering the routines of the day and visually representing that beyond text. And why? Well, one, they're a little bit more engaging. Two, that visual connection along with the text connection can help in terms of the processing and the memory and making connections there. And of course, the use of visual schedules allow for a consistency, allow for an understanding of what we're expected to do, how the steps are broken down. So something fairly large can be broken down into steps and very visually represented to reduce the anxiety, reduce the stress. It can further engage the individual. And by the way, good visual schedules also not only simply tell what to do, but it also could visually represent when you're done. It could help with the transitions that are going on. And transitions are good because, oh, I've completed this task. I'm now getting ready for this other task. It might be a little bit more of an enjoyable task. And so visual schedules and visuals can be used in a variety of different ways. And so one thing I do want to emphasize in the area of a number of different type of student, particularly students with disabilities, particularly students with autism, this is an evidence-based practice. It's just not simply, let's grab a bunch of visuals and share it with individuals, but rather there are steps to create the right type of visual support, the right type of visual schedule. And those steps, when followed, have been shown to be quite effective, particularly individuals with learning disabilities, autism, intellectual disabilities, and the list goes on. So it's not simply, hey, here's a visual, go ahead to it. There are steps that actually educators can follow, and these are things that one we can create with that structure and then give over to mom and dad to be able to facilitate at home. These are things we could be teaching the child that we're working with, and of course we could further empower the adult at home to help them organize things to allow for that child to be more of self-monitoring, independent, scaffolding some of that learning so it's not on the responsibility or the shoulders of the parent when we do hybrid, blended, or fully online. And with the use of visual schedules, there's so many of the visuals we can use. There are whiteboards, little whiteboards that we might recommend. And hey, when you're done with it, use the red to check it off. And there's something to be said for checking off a task and to be able to say, we're done for the day, or maybe it's a dash for the day, or something in between. Now, with that, checklists are very powerful, right? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do that? Another type of visuals. Of course, there's timers that offer the fact that this is how much time you have, this is how much time you've completed, things of that nature. Those can be engaging, those can be motivating. Of course, those can help direct and level of independence for that learner. Now, with that, there's a number of different technologies out there for us to consider. There are apps out there. This is one, the Visual Schedule Planner. And those apps actually, depending upon the age of the child, can do everything from on the back end of it, you can create it, and then it's very visual for the individual, very basic. Picture, time, check off. But on the back end, you put everything to the image, you can put audio prompts, a number of different things. And the apps really vary about what's possible. But also, don't forget your content management systems, those systems that provide those online lessons, those online assessments, the online dashboard systems, the ones that are fairly independent. I'm going to assign you these lessons to complete in IXL, or I'm going to assign you these lessons to complete in Study Island and Khan Academy and things of that nature. Remember, those tend to have schedules to go along with it. Those tend to have calendars, visual reminders, oftentimes embedded in the lesson, but they could be check-offs, checklists, things of that nature to consider. But also in our learning management systems, our Google Classroom, our things of that nature, those systems are also internal to calendars, check systems, schedules, visual schedules, tools like Google Forms and others that we can create some of those schedules for a check-in, check-out, that reinforcement. So the host of things we can do in visual schedules just goes on and on and on. The big thing is, this is the type of thing as an educator, we can, create for the child at home to be able to then download, they could print it off, They could have it there within their system if they are online as that reminder. Two, these are the types of things that we can empower with the adult at home, recommend, reinforce, help them understand how to potentially be able to utilize so that there's a level of independence, self monitoring, self advocacy, continuation in terms of engagement on the part of the child. Maybe we're building that grit because of these components that we're helping to facilitate within the child. So the parent isn't providing the direct instruction, so to speak. They're rather using these tools to help, again, further empower, further provide independence for the learner, and therefore, as an adult, not necessarily having to be there behind them as they're trying to facilitate instruction. These are just a few ideas, few tips, and again, back to the use of visual schedules to reinforce components in that hybrid, blended, fully online learning where parents can be empowered and not necessarily be our instructor, but better to be able to facilitate that level of independence at home that they need so they can be off at work and doing work from home and a variety of other things as their children are also engaged in learning. Hope this helps. Have a great day.